Simple Solutions, lesson number 80. Number 1, order the numbers from greatest to least. So the first thing I did was line up my decimal points in my place value. I know I'm ordering from greatest to least, and I can already see that 8 in the tens place is the largest, so that's the greatest. I'm just going to put a number 1 there. Next would be the 4 in the tens place. And then finally, 34 is the smallest. So that would be in order from greatest to least. Number 2, think about 6/7 times 7. Will the product be more than or less than 7? Explain. The product or the answer will be less than 7. You have to explain it, and you would say because 6/7 is less than 1. Number 3, let's multiply decimals. 3 times 5 is 15. 5 times 9 is 45, plus 1 is 46. 3 times 3 is 9, and 3 times 9 is 27. Now we'll add. We have 5. 9 plus 6 is 15. 7 plus 4 plus 1 is 12, and 2 plus 1 is 3. Now I'm going to go back into my question and see that there are 2 numbers behind the decimal point in my question, which means I'm going to have 2 numbers behind the decimal point in my answer. So my answer is 32 and 55/100ths. Number 4, we are multiplying by a power of 10. First thing I look at is my exponent. That number tells me how many places I'm going to move my decimal point. We are multiplying, which means we'll move the decimal point to the right 3 times. So, take my decimal point, move it over 1, 2, 3 places to the right. So my answer is 7,195. Number 5. You had to first make a rule of +2, starting with 0. So 0 plus 2 is 2, 2 plus 2 is 4, 4 plus 2 is 6, 6 plus 2 is 8. Then you had to use the rule +6, starting with 0. 0 plus 6 is 6, 6 plus 6 is 12, 12 plus 6 is 18, and 18 plus 6 is 24. And if you were to compare the 2 patterns, which it does ask you to do, describe the relationship, you would see that the second pattern is 3 times the first pattern. So 2 times 3 is 6, 4 times 3 is 12, 6 times 3 is 18, 8 times 3 is 24. So I'll write here the second pattern is 3 times the first pattern. Okay? Number 6. Use the coordinate plane to complete the items. So let's check out this coordinate plane here. It has shapes on it. Name the shape at 1, 3. Well, we'll go over 1, up 3. That is the circle. And name the shape at 3, 0, over 3, up 0. That is the triangle. Take you back over here. 1, 3 was the circle. 3, 0 was the triangle. Number 7. Round to the nearest hundredth. Well, the 7's in the hundredth place, so I check out this 8. 8 tells a 7 to go up. Bump up 1 to an 8. And everything before it stays the same. So my answer is 54 and 38/100ths. Number 8. 3 jars of poster paint were shared equally among 2 artists. How much paint did each artist get? Between what 2 whole numbers does your answer lie? Well, There were 3 jars of paint, shared equally, so we'll divide among 2 artists. Let's figure out how much each artist gets. 2 goes into 3 once. 1 times 2 is 2. And we subtract. Bring our remainder up as a fraction. So they each get 1.5 jars. The second part of that question says, between what 2 whole numbers does your answer lie? And it's between 1 and 2. Okay, number 9. Angles are formed whenever 2 rays share a common what? Well, here is an angle. I guess first there's a ray. And here's another ray. And it did form an angle. And this part where they meet on each ray is called an end point. So angles are formed whenever 2 rays here, they're sharing their end point. Number 10, 96 times 13. 6 times 3 is 18. 3 times 9 is 27. Plus 1 is 28. 1 times 6 is 6. 1 times 9 is 9. Let's add these up. 8 plus 0 is 8. 8 plus 6 is 14. And 9 plus 2 plus 1 is 12. 1,248. Number 11. Which of these is another way to express 9 times 1/6? Your answer here is C. 9 times 1 divided by 6. Because when you are multiplying fraction, a whole number times a fraction, what you're really doing here is multiplying 9 times 1, and then your fraction bar is a division symbol, and you're dividing it by 6. So your answer was C. Number 12, which polygon shown is regular? Now let's remember, a regular quadrilateral has the same angles, degrees, and the same side lengths. So obviously B is your best choice. Number 12 is B. Number 13, subtract the fractions. Remember to find a common denominator and simplify your answer. 4/5 minus 2/6. I'm going to multiply my denominators. 4 times 6 is 24, and 5 times 6 is 30. 2 times 5 is 10, and 6 times 5 is 30. Now I can subtract. 24/30 minus 10/30 is 14/30. If I wanted to simplify, I could divide my numerator and my denominator by 2, and I would get 7/15. Okay, number 14. Skip walked 3 miles with his dog. How many yards did Skip walk with his dog? Well, we all know that 1 mile is 1,760 yards. And we're going from a larger unit to a smaller unit, so we need to multiply. So we'll do 1,760 yards times 3 miles to figure out how many yards are in 3 miles. 7 times 3 is 21, plus 1 is 22, and 3 times 1 is 3, plus 2 is 5. So your answer is 5,280 yards in 3 miles. Oh, sorry, that's blurry. Number 15. Let's do order of operations within our parentheses. First things first, all the way inside there is 9. 3 times 3 is 9. So let's do 45 minus 9. 45 minus 9 is 36. So I've done that. Now I'm going to follow my brackets and do 42 minus 36, which is 6. And finally, outside the brackets is multiply that by 8. And 6 times 8 is 48. Okay, and number 16, look at this grid. Does the point at the coordinates 5, 5 appear within the triangle or outside of its borders? Well, I'll start here at 0, go over 5, up 5, and that point is definitely outside of the borders. Outside the borders.